I don't know about you guys, but when I have Italian food, I really like to have a nice bottle of wine with it. Would you guys be open to that?
I'm definitely open to that. I would prefer a red.
I'm a really big fan of reds too, so.
Excellent. That sounds good to me. Well,
Hey, good evening. How are y'all doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Need some assistance with the wine list?
We're wondering about your feature this week, the Klein Cellars Cashmere.
That's an awesome wine. I think you guys will love it. It's a little Rhone blend from California. It's just delicious.
awesome.
You want to try that?
That sounds
Yes.
great.
Sounds
Let's do that.
great.
So I think I've got an appetizer chosen. I think that we probably should get the filet and mushroom risotto.
I'm
I
down
haven't
with
had
that.
that one
I think it
yet.
would taste excellent with this wine.
All right.
They've got great
And
risottos
here we
here.
are.
Hell yeah. Chicken and pesto.
This is the Klein Cashmere 2012.
Perfect.
All right.
Oh, I like the label.
Oh, yeah. So I think they support breast cancer awareness with this one.
Awesome.
I've heard good things about this wine.
Oh, it's, man, our response has been amazing.
Excellent.
So excited.
Alrighty. You're the lucky one.
Oh, it's decision time.
One of the best decisions to make of the week.
Okay, exactly.
I think.
That's fantastic.
So I knew it.
Great.
I knew you guys would like this one.
I've
Been very popular.
I'm excited.
Thank you.
And you are welcome. Thank you, Sarah. Now I have to start thinking about my dinner item, my entree item.
Oh, you have to have the steak there. It's phenomenal.
But I've heard great things about the ravioli pomodoro as well.
That's my favorite sauce. I love it.
Can't go wrong with some spaghetti and meat sauce and meatballs as well.
Very true.
Classic.
All right, and your sir will be back over to check with you guys. If you need anything else, don't hesitate to ask.
Excellent.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
It's right there. Y'all enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we're gonna test your judgment here. You say it's right.
Cheers.
All right, now we're talking a little bit about red wine service. One thing that you obviously should know here is that of the 300 or so labels that we have here at Luigi's, about 80% of it is red. So you're going to spend a lot more time serving red wine than you're going to spend serving anything else. And I'm sure that's probably true for most of your experiences. So with that, now that does not mean that, like in the case of when we talk about cork and Stelvin enclosure, that there aren't more reds with Stelvin enclosure. There absolutely is, especially from Australia, especially from some California products. But in most cases, you will be dealing with cork. Okay, so we want to go over that procedure again. The same rules apply as far as how much red wine we are pouring. As far as it went to the shoulder, the same procedure applies in terms of tasting it and pouring. When I initially poured your taste, okay, you are my host, okay. I identified that as soon as I approached the table. You had the wine list in hand, and you essentially selected the wine. So you became my host. Now, you might question, okay, she's a woman. Why did I pour her last? Because the host always supersedes whether or not she's male or female, or he's male or whatever. Whenever we identify the host and the host orders the wine, I'm going to pour the taste. Then I'm going to proceed in a clockwise direction around the table and approach from the right shoulder. Each of the glasses will be placed on the right side of the guest. So I'll place the glass on the right side. I moved around. I placed this over here in a position that was close or close to your right side. And then again, when I actually poured the wine for you, I did pour from your right shoulder. All right. The reason we always approach from that direction is because if they're number one, I don't want to go counterclockwise because then I'm going to be right on top of you before you even say it. So this gives you an opportunity to see me coming and be prepared for me to pour your wine. So I'm always pouring. The other thing that's one of the key things about pouring wine is we always pour with the label facing the guest, okay? And as I have my little thing in there, you will notice that I will pour, and I showed you this with the white wine, and I'll give it a little twist and I'll catch. Twist and a catch. Pretty simple. Especially the first pour, you're interested in this wine. You're ready for this wine.
Yeah.
You don't want to look at the back of the label.
No. You want
Okay?
to see the front.
You want to see the front of the label.
Yeah.
You want to see that thing right there in front of you. So you can see what it is that you're tasting and what you're about to consume. Now, so I went clockwise. It just so happened that in the clockwise direction, it was you. You were a lady.
First
okay.
female, yeah.
Now, had you been sitting here, I would have come clockwise all the way around, poured to you.
Skipped the male,
I would have
yeah.
gone back and continued clockwise around and poured to him.
Then her.
Then I would have come back. So you see all the movement that I've made just
Right.
to pour 3 glasses, but that is the proper procedure. So,
Ladies first after the host.
right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, ladies first, after the host, every time. The host can be male or female, does not matter. I've seen it many times when the female will order the wine and the server will pour the taste and then pour their wine. Incorrect, okay? They have to pour the male's wine first and then they come back and finish with the host. Now, the only thing that throws this stuff off in terms of our wine production or service here in the restaurant is booths, okay? Why?
Because of the reach sometimes.
Well,
Can't
can't
walk
go
around.
around a booth,
You
can we?
can't go around a
No.
booth because of
Right.
the reach. The
Right,
reach to the
right.
far corner.
and
of
the
booth.
reach as well. So in certain cases, when I'm pouring wine to a booth, I'll have a couple of different options that may apply. Number one, I can't go around the table, so I will. There are some, typical rules that we like to abide by that we're going to forego because of you can only pour from one position at the table at the end of the table. So, still, I'm going to utilize the clockwise direction, okay, if I can, pouring to ladies first and then the men and then the host. And so that never really changes. It's just whether I'm pouring from the right side or the shoulder or not. Okay? So, but for the most part, it still is the same procedure. Okay? So, host is always last. Host gets the taste. Think about it like bookends. Host gets the first taste, host gets the last pour. Always. All right? Makes sense. Okay. Now, everybody has their choice of wine tool. Okay? Mine happens to be a double action lever. Okay? This thing has. What this is this is manufactured by a certain company called Pull Taps, and what it does is it has 2 little sort of shelves that I can put the neck of the bottle on. And the reason I like these is because with very difficult corks, it allows the screw itself to stay straighter. So when you watch me open it, you'll see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But in any case, the first thing we have to do is, open and reveal our knife, and we're going to take the capsule. We're going to cut the capsule at the base. Now we can. Some people do cut it at the top, and some people cut at the base. I typically like to cut at the base. You see, every wine bottle is going to have this little thing, and that's a drip catch. Is basically what those things are. But they really don't catch drips. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and make a cut all the way around that base. And the reason I like to use the bottom side is because I can put a little pressure up and it keeps me right on the bottom. Now, once I've made one clean cut around, I'll just take the front edge of my knife and just kind of run it right up the top, just like that. All right. Now, once I've peeled that front side, then I'll just come right over to the side and just pop it right off. All right. Very simple little thing. And one of the things about wine service is that it's a lot about panache and character. People always love when I open bottles of wine because I do it real quickly with my hands are moving all the time, and they sit there and go, "Wow, that's awesome." You know what I mean? They don't realize that it's really art. That portion of it's art. So it's the movement of my hands. You know, I exacerbate the movement of my elbows so that people see this and becomes a part of the presentation of the whole thing. And as you get more accustomed to do it, you will see that becomes part of the thing that you should take advantage of. Doing it in front of, you know, making sure that you have plain view. Don't open for a table and have yourself over here where they can't see it. But let it be part of the spectacle of the whole experience. Remember, these people who ordered this wine, they probably, you know, it could be a very expensive wine, it could be a moderate, but no matter what, they are anticipating that wine. And every bit and moment that I go through this process, it creates more anticipation.
Exactly.
So I'm going through this whole process. I've decapsulated it. I put it right over here. I pop my thing right here. And I come in from a little bit of an angle because the screw's got a little bit of a turn, and I want to push it right down into the middle. All right. And then I want to go ahead and get that thing nice and square and vertical. As you can see, it's pretty vertical right there. All right. Everybody see that? See that? And then I just want to go ahead and screw it right on in. Now, with this particular wine screw, because it is a double action lever, you see that I just dropped my thumb on the back side of this thing, and you can see that I've got a little shelf right there, okay? Then I'm gonna take my hand and just push down a little bit.
How far
Now-
do you want to screw down?
Well, that's a good question. And the
double
reason
lever is a
in
little
this
different,
particular
right?
in the double lever, I don't go as deep as I do if it doesn't. Okay, because with this one now, what happens is I pulled it a little bit, and you can see I've got it started. With the double action, you'll see what happens is then I just pop it right to that position.
And the hinge is still straight.
And the hinge, that's right. And you can
Straight.
notice that my screw is very straight. Hence the reason I like these very much. Especially
I
when
like
I'm
them.
opening older bottles of wine, what happens is if I have any shift in the position of that thing, it can exacerbate the potential for tearing or shearing that cork.
Dropping cork into the
We
wine.
just- it's
right?
just such a
Some of
pain.
them are really hard to get out too, and those
Right.
really help get it out.
That's right. So now I've gone to the second part of the lever, the second action, and I'm just going to bring it straight up. Okay?
Almost to the end.
Now, you notice that I did not pull it all the way out. We do not want to pull it all the way out. I want to pull it out to where it's in a position where I can gain a handhold on this thing. Just with my hand, just like this, and I want to go back and forth until it slides right out. Very simple.
Perfect.
Okay? Now,
Well done.
in this case, now what we would be doing, because we are dealing with cork, I'm going to present the cork along with the wine glass to the taster, right? I like to try, if I can, most corks do have a label or a name on them, unless they're lower end wine, they typically don't, but I do like to try, part of my little procedure, that I like to put that thing facing the person who's tasting it. You know, it's just kind of one of those things. And again, the same procedure applies. One of the things that you'll notice me do all the time, right after I take the cork out, is that I will actually put my napkin, stick it just with my finger, just into the neck of the bottle a tiny bit, and just do a twist. Why do we do this? Let me tell you.
Sediment, maybe?
Well, in some wines, sediment will accumulate on the bottom of the cork. Okay?
Oh.
When I pull that thing out, right at the very end, there's potential for some of that sediment
To
to
go right in the
get
glass.
right there at the very top.
So it could go into the first pour, maybe.
That's exactly right. And guess what the first pour is?
the taste.
Ah.
The taste.
Bingo.